Okay. It's not the bar.
You know, have one paddle and they use them for both, and you know, some of it's, you know, people cheat and get away with it. But when you start getting to a certain level, that you've got to have a quiver. You've got to have paddles that are sized for your 6-man and paddles that are sized for your 1-man.
And possibly even a sprint versus a long distance type of a thing, as far as the blade size is concerned and so forth. But yeah, I mean the 6-man blades, all blades, I think, most generally across the board are getting shorter and shorter as people realize how much stress they put on your shoulders. You know, the longer the blade, you know, look at that, right? Ow, so sore. So you don't want to have your top hand go too high, or you put so much stress on your shoulders. So I paddle with
surf ski paddlers, you know, often get rotator cuff problems, and you know, more so than outrigger paddlers, because they're, you know, you end up coming a little higher.
Right, and so if you have a shorter blade, I mean, there are some guys that do use a longer blade, like Kai uses a real long blade, but a lot of that is because he has a sort of a hunchback problem kind of a thing that he's trying to fix. So he does that because he's trying to alter something that he doesn't like with his stroke. He can believe that he has something with his stroke that he doesn't like as fast as he is, but most generally, you don't want to use too long of a blade. And on a 6-man, I think the conventional wisdom is, you know, you want the blade to sit snugly under your armpit, and your 1-man blade will be, like Jim said, roughly an inch and a half, 2 inches shorter than that. And that kind of depends on how tall you are to begin with, right? It's a ratio, and I never bothered to figure out what the ratio is, but I know that I paddle with a 52 in a 6-man and a 50 in the 1-man most generally. And you know, so the 1-man blade ends up being, you know, right about Chi-Chi height.
That's all you? That's all
5'9" and change, almost 5'10". So Jim paddles with a 49 in the 1-man sometimes. So
right. So I'm 5'8", right? I paddle with a 49, 50, you know, somewhere in there. In the 6-man, I'll, you know, 51 is kind of, I like the 51. But I end up using a 52 a lot, because if I'm in a 9-man race, so nobody else in there is using a 51. So I mean, there's all kinds of variables, you know, that I've got to cheat up to a little bit longer of a blade, and you know, Joe Super Tall's got to cheat down to a little bit shorter of a blade, because he and John are going to share, you know, both of you are going to sit 2 in a 6-man. So,
and we're going to have, you know, a little bit of that problem, I'm sure, out there tomorrow, right? Unless you guys are going to want to be switching blades every time, which is okay to do too, but you know, you're probably going to burn a little time doing that, so you might try to find a blade height that's sort of in between, and everybody makes a slight compromise or an adjustment, more like. It's really more of an adjustment, because that's going to essentially change where you put your bottom hand. If your blade is too long for you, rather than just put it down where you normally paddle, which is not there, that's not what I normally do, but rather than choke down on it, you're going to choke up, right? And you're just going to have to bury your blade a little bit deeper to keep from standing you up, from sitting you up, assuming that you like to get some reach on it, some purchase.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, Miss Jackson. But shorty acting like she's ready for some action.